This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank at absoluteradio.co.uk. You know what? Thought done. Oh, you followed a mock cart. Thought it was a wedding. That's what people used to say.
I believe.
Yeah.
You know the cake adverts, naughty but nice. Do you remember those?
Was that Mr.
I believe
Kipling?
that.
Was it? It wasn't Mr. Kipling.
I think it was.
It was written by Salman Rushdie.
Salman Rushdie.
Can I just say, I think it was for cream, possibly fresh cream.
Yeah.
Although I do like the idea of there being a cake advertising board. People just advertise.
Oh, you're right.
Cake.
It was fresh cream.
Yeah, I that would
naughty
be good.
but nice.
Yeah, it's he did a few. I think there's a few famous Rushdie slogans.
Faye Weldon as well.
Who is it? Was one, I think. Anyway,
Frank, can I just say something to you? We've had a number of people getting in touch this morning. Very excited about the Winter World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
There have already been some requests.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there for you. Given, for example, we've had Chris Fairs. Given that we're having a Winter World Cup, how about a 3 Lines Christmas remix for the tournament? Throw in a few bells and all that, and you've got an easy football/Christmas twofer.
Yeah, my main problem with the Christmas World Cup is that Turkey haven't qualified.
Oh, yeah.
This is the sort of stuff that ruins comedy, isn't it? People not making an effort.
Yeah.
I can't comment on that, basically.
I understand.
So, there you go.
I understand.
Oh, wow. So,
we've got an early complaint, actually.
Oh, no. What is it? Dermatitis?
I hope you're feeling...
Have we got to guess what it is?
Feeling robust, Frank.
Okay, go on.
I think it's picking you up on a pronunciation. 096 has texted, Frank, I don't know how many times I've tried to tell you, it's aide memoire, not aide de memoire.
Oh, aide memoire. I'm going to write that down.
Okay.
Aide. I made the same mistake with Menage a Trois.
Oh, when was that? Would you care to elaborate?
No. I've always think it's a very good idea, a menage a trois. Not in a physical way, but just, for voting. Couple voting, one of the big problems is there's two of you. Constant stalemates. If you're in a menage a trois, things just move more smoothly.
Right.
Okay.
I've written it down.
Breaking news this morning. I hope that's not taken out of context, Frank.
No.
If you're in a menage a trois, things just move more smoothly.
No, but
Thanks,
people
Skinner.
think it's all about the physicals of menage a trois, but there's lots of, you got two of you go out and let someone, the other one watches a dog.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a great scheme. Okay.
More banter.
If there's any menage a trois listening, drop us a...
No, don't.
But like I said, I don't think it's necessarily a sordid thing. I think it's a modern world. And also, there's a housing shortage. So many reasons for an MT.
The modern world.
Yeah.
This is the modern world, isn't it? Anyway, listen.
Yeah.
It was... I got up yesterday...
Oh, yeah.
And my son is in tears.
Why?
And Cath holds up a COVID test, and there's the old double red line. So that's that. Then I noticed he's in tears, and he's knocked over a cup of tea on the table. And I didn't want to say, what are you... Because he's in tears, so I had to just pick it up. When I reached for it, the tea was a piece of plastic cut into the shape of a puddle of tea. And I said, hold it, is this an April Fool's joke? And he went, yes. I said, hold it, have you actually got? And he went, no, it was a joke. When I looked at the COVID test, there was a red biro line been drawn on the thing. And it was most upsetting, I must say. Earlier in the day, remember, this was like 7:30 in the morning. Earlier in the day, he'd been typing something on his mum's laptop, and for some reason he'd slammed it down, and when he picked it up, all the screen had cracked, except it hadn't. He'd put a transfer. I mean, you couldn't move in the house for pranking. So anyway, that was my start to the day. Was that the first link? What, just fled by? What happened to it?
Let's compare.
I've lost all sense of time. Wasn't that about a minute and a half?
I think we devoted quite a lot of time to Menage a Trois.
Oh, yeah, that's the trouble. They do take up a bit more time in some aspects.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Me and my partner went to see friend of the show, Tim Key, this week at the Soho Theatre.
Yeah.
And Cath said, why don't we walk into town? It's about an hour and a quarter. Why don't we walk in and we have a good chat? So I thought it was nice. Nice thing.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
So just as we was leaving, she went to the toilet and then launched into a harangue. And she doesn't normally eat cake. She launched into a harangue about let's call it my toilet accuracy.
Uh-oh.
You know, the old male-female argument.
Yes, I do.
So we walked into town, and for the first 45 minutes we didn't speak at all because we'd had an argument. We just walked side by side, probably 3 feet between us.
Oh.
Head glowering, I think
Sort of
is the word.
state funeral procession.
Yes, it was only broken when we stopped at Superdrug on Cath's constant quest for traditional Lypsyl, as she calls it. Not one of these newfangled offshoots of Lypsyl, but the royal blue tube.
Oh, I know.
Couldn't get it, though. Couldn't get it.
No.
So we went to see Tim Key in his show Mulberry, which is basically about lockdown. To my horror, he still wasn't doing a joke about lockdown and Key, even though I told him that was an opportunity
He
missed.
doesn't play on the key enough.
He won't. He won't take my advice. Well, I talked about him doing a greatest hits package called TK Maxx.
Come on, that's good.
Yeah, but no, he was sniffy about it.
Oh.
Some people don't want the help, do they? Too proud.
Yeah, anyway, it's very funny.
I mean, now when you say
I
some
hardly thought of
people-
any improvements.
When you Frank, you know these stories make me so ill.
I didn't see him after, so it was safe. I'm over it now. I'll
Why do
never
you think
tell
you didn't see him after? Do you think maybe he made a hasty getaway because he's been on the receiving end of this before?
because he went 20 minutes over time. That's why I didn't see him after. You know, some of us got babysitters. I sent him a text that said, sorry we didn't hang around, time is money. That's what the text from the babysitter said.
Oh, Frank.
Anyway, I tell you what I didn't know about Mulberry.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a fashion brand.
Right.
Did you? You knew that?
Did I know that Mulberry was a fashion brand?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
You see, I thought, where does Burberry fit into that then? Is it like Kentucky Fried Chicken and Kennedy Fried Chicken? Have you ever seen Kennedy Fried Chicken?
Yeah.
Picture of JFK, and of course they can use the KFC logo. Is it like that?
Dixie Fried Chicken.
So I thought there was Burberry, and that was the only famous fashionable berry.
No, in what context does he discuss it? Does he discuss the brand?
No,
in the
but
show?
when I looked up the show to see, what time, well, basically to see what the tickets would have cost if we hadn't got comps. Like when Bob Monkhouse gave me a watch at lunch. It was really kind. I was really thankful for him. I walked 50 yards to the nearest jeweller to get it valued. And the jeweller actually said to me, like being in an old joke, he said it could do with a bit of a thing change the back. He said, he said, but we'll have to, if we reseal it properly, you'll be able to swim in here. I said, that's fantastic. I can't swim. And I got nothing from him at all. Absolutely zero response.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So here's the thing. I went into the toilet in my house, and Boz said, I went in with Boz, and the floor was flooded with water, and I realised it hadn't been me.
Oh.
It was. So I called Cath in. I thought, this is my triumphant moment. I said, there you are. It wasn't me who made the floor wet. She went, oh, no. And Boss said, April Fool. And he'd put loads of water on the floor. I mean, one joke you're supposed to do, that's it. That's 4 years' worth. He'll realise when he starts doing comedy professionally, you don't want to use it all up in one go.
I mean, how does it feel like to not be the chief prankster? in
No,
your
I
house
love
anymore?
it. I love it. If anyone else had replaced me, but I love it. It's did we sort out what mulberry is, by the way?
Well, I didn't need to sort it out.
Is
I
it
can
a
tell
well-known
you.
brand?
Yes, it's very well known.
Oh, it's definitely a well-known brand.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
A lot
Even
of
Al
great
knows
work.
it.
Even Al knows it.
No, but he's.
I'll tell you what it is, Frank. It's. Are you familiar with the? I think they're best known for their leather goods.
Yeah.
Don't get too excited.
No, I was obviously I associate that with world of leather.
Don't text all your S&M
No.
community friends. They're associated very much with the handbag.
Oh.
It's a high-end
Handbag?
Well, there's okay.
a high-end handbag in the sort of satchel vibe.
No, I like a satchel.
The Alexa. Are you familiar with the Alexa?
No.
Sorry to everyone at home who's
Yeah.
now having issues with Alexa. I won't say it again. Yeah.
What, Alexa?
Oh. Anna Friel was the face of Mulberry for
Is
so
that
long.
right?
There you go.
Anna Friel. Wow.
I actually have a vintage.
Sorry. That was
Sorry.
accidental. Carry on.
I have a vintage mulberry suitcase that I really like. It's a bit of kit.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I've actually, as we speak, I've got a Birkin handbag over
Have
my
you?
shoulder. Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah.
Quite like a Birkin handbag.
Don't know what Birkin is.
Well, they're named after Jane Birkin,
Lovely.
Serge Gainsbourg's girlfriend.
Most expensive handbag in the world.
Yeah.
We start
Is it?
at 10,000.
Wowee.
Okay.
And then if you want straps and buckles,
You better call Frank's
Yeah.
friends.
exactly.
John Hopkins has
Hopkins.
one of our regulars. Morning all. Not able to listen to the show live today as I'm unbelievably visiting a sanctuary for misused apes in the Brecon Beacons this morning.
Wow.
Talk about life imitating art. That Oscar Wilde knew what he was talking about, didn't he? Frank, your views on this?
Is that life? In what way is that life imitating art?
Well, I assume the art he's referring to is when you conceived of a. I think you said misused apes. You were talking
Did you?
about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you not?
I went to Monkey World in Wall in Dorset, that's for misused apes. So I don't think they use the word misused.
No, they don't. But recently, when you were talking about, I can't remember in what context.
Not the
it was.
Tipton Slashers
I think
monkey,
it might have
was
been
it?
the Tipton Slashers
Yeah.
monkey. You
Well,
said
there's misused and there's stuffed and left on a shelf.
you used the phrase misused apes.
Did I really? Well,
that
that
makes
is
sense.
it's a funny old world, Saint.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what, I went to a film premiere this week.
Did you? Which one was
Out and
that?
about, aren't you?
I have been out and about this week. I went to see Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore.
Lovely.
Yeah. And I tell you what, it's a weird thing because I thought I took my son and I thought I don't really want photographs of my son in the paper. So I just went in the public queue and went in with them. And then when I was halfway through, a woman said to me, Frank, would you just come and have your photo taken? So I had to go under the velvet rope,
Oh.
get her to watch Boz, and then I did. I mean, who is it the person in the world who sees a picture of me and thinks, oh, Frank Skinner went to that, I might give that film a go? Who is that person? That person doesn't exist.
Oh, there must be somebody.
But anyway, I then had to go back into the public queue, and then I realised, of course, the other side of the velvet was like Eddie Redmayne, Jude Law, even Tom Felton was there, Malfoy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Boz was going, oh man, I'd love to meet them. And I thought, oh no, I can't cross the rope again.
No.
Once you've crossed the rope. So I ended up the wrong side for my kid to meet them.
The wrong
The one that's-
side, but in many ways the right side.
Well, you say
Yeah,
that, but my
Yeah, good
problem
intentions.
is when they do these How to Be a Good Father books, there's almost never a section on film premieres.
No.
No.
It's very excluding. I think.
What I'm really learning from this story is just how non-secure the velvet rope is. You can actually break through that barrier twice.
Yeah, exactly.
With total ease.
I'm just glad my knees was up to it, because I had to dip somewhat
I
to get
think
underneath.
it's very
Yeah.
useful
You limboed
to...
on the way back, didn't you?
I wish I could limbo.
I think it's very useful...
If I was a brilliant limbo dancer, what would my stage name be?
What?
Gary Barlow.
Oh, lovely.
Barlow.
I get it.
That's just for the people at home.
I get it.
I'm happy to work with footnotes if I have to.
I think it's good to experience life on both sides of the rope.
It is, but I wouldn't have mind saying, Eddie, this is my son. You know what I mean? It would have been nice, but never mind.
Okay.
Those days are gone. I need to live with that. It's fine. It's fine. I'm all right.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I have a story of something that happened to me this week, which I'm calling Raisins of Death.
Oh.
Oh.
So, my partner called me
Yeah.
and she said, oh, my God, something terrible's happened. And I said, what is it? She said, I saw a couple giving the ducks raisins. There's a big thing now on Hampstead Heath where I live near that you don't give the ducks bread or they die. Yeah.
Right.
And what they suggested what I looked up on the Royal Society for the Perfection of Birds, it said give them frozen peas that have been thawed. Peas,
Right.
peas, I call them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were
Maybe
giving
they
them.
mean compared to like shelled peas. They know what kind of area.
Yeah,
they're
mate,
dealing
you
with,
can't
don't
put them in shell. That would just tease the ducks
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
But anyway, this couple said to Cath, your dog loves raisins. Now,
Uh-oh.
Cath knew, which I didn't, that raisins are basically dog kryptonite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're up there with chocolate.
Well, I think
Down
they're
there,
beyond
I
from... I went Googling straight away because I didn't want to spend money at the vet if I could possibly help it. And it was quite heavy duty, the raisin.
And nuts are terrible.
Is that right? Anyway, raisins seem to be... Raisins was certainly in the Champions League positions
Yeah.
as far as the league table of dangerous things for dogs. So we took her to the vet. And they had to, I won't go into too much detail, but they take them into a back room and inject them with stuff to make them be sick.
I've been in that back room, Frank.
I never go in the back room.
Right.
But they went in and then one of them has to read the runes, as it were, is look at what's... Yeah.
Oh,
anyway.
Like panning for gold.
Yeah, like
sort
panning
of,
for gold, panning for raisins.
Tea leaves type stuff, yeah.
Anyway, the vet came in, and bear in mind this is North London, which is it's a bit posh. She said, great news, it's goji berries. So goji berries apparently are quite nutritious. So this couple had said raisins, but they were using a general dried fruit coverall.
Right. Must be
But
costing them a fortune.
the joy of it was that the vet said, anyway, so there's no harm done. She might be a bit shaky for a bit because she's had the injection vomit thing. She said, but she's and she left a slight pause. Good to go, G. I was very pleased. I
so
said that's a
happy
really
with that.
very fine joke. Whether looking back it was worth 151 quid, I don't know.
Yeah, you've got to wonder.
But it was a good vet joke because I find that vets generally are a bit serious.
Does it have a sign up
Yeah.
at your vet with a list of what's poisonous to dogs? And at the top, instead of chocolate, it just says green and blacks.
Does it say that?
I suspect
does
it
it?
does, yeah.
Maybe. No, I don't think it does.
Strawberries, Frank, as well. Don't go near them.
Look, I'm not. With the dogs that we had, my last dog lived to be 18 and ate more chocolate than people who eat than
Yeah.
Willy Wonka.
And how many cigarettes a day did your old granddad smoke?
No, but we had a beagle who was on 60 a
Oh,
day.
Frank.
Anyway,
What's wrong with you?
we didn't know then. We didn't know.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Anyway, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. News just in. Sarah's benched Trent. Sarah is our producer, and you wouldn't believe this. But the shoes on the other foot, the football boots on the other foot. I basically sit here and they talk about football for the whole
The ladies.
time.
Controversially, I'm playing him this week.
You're playing Trent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you know what? If he doesn't play, he'll just get substituted for Cody, who, yes, I'm hanging on to. Anyway, Dr. Troy Astart. You remember him, Frank? He's one of our regulars.
Yes.
Hello.
I wasn't aware of the surname. A star. Is it a pun? Try a start or something?
No, some people just have names.
They do.
It doesn't always have to be a pun.
It's in the sort of same thing as Emily Atack. It's got that kind of feel to it. I knew an Op Richard. I went to college with an Op Richard, which she said was you Pritchard.
Oh.
But I think it was Op Richard. And I also knew Marika Onions, who insisted on a Nile as her surname.
I couldn't have been friends with Marika.
No, I wasn't really friends with her, to be honest. She drank in the same pub, and we said, there's that Marika who says it's a Niles, but we all know it's Onions. If she's listening, she was much admired, secretly.
That sounds a bit troubling.
No, it was
Troy,
aesthetic.
Okay,
Anyway.
okay. Dr. Troy has got in touch to say, firstly, I like Royal Society for the Perfection of Birds. I think that may have been what you said.
Did I say perfection?
I think you did. Dr. Troy continues, side note, as a child...
It sounds like a Robin Asquith film.
It's very 1970s. Side note, as a child, I got confused that the P in RSPCA was prevention and in RSPB was protection. So a few times I said prevention of birds and protection of cruelty to animals.
Yeah, I didn't know it was. I didn't realise it was prevention, but of course it must be.
Yes.
I mean, I think if they started again, they'd have a catchier name, wouldn't they? Don't all those initials.
Oh, yeah. Well, those are the first things you join. The RSPB. I mean, we just joined that by default. My parents said you need to join the RSPB.
We never joined that.
Did you not?
We figured if you could fly, you could look after yourself. You don't need to protect something that can fly, do you? Whereas animals, they're on the ground. It's harder to get away.
Oh, okay. Different worlds, Frank.
And was the RSPAA, which was protecting animals from Attenborough.
Right. That's an all-day job, that.
Yeah, setting up terrible incidents that he could film.
Can you imagine when he arrives? You must be gutted.
Oh, you think, oh no.
No.
Just do nothing. Let's get our own back. He
Yeah.
never does. Sort of like, you know those Andy Warhol movies? There'll be like a man sleeping for 8
Yeah.
hours. He never does any animal ones where it's just animals just sitting around.
And they must do that.
Yeah, no, it's like the only way is Essex. He gives them the bullet points. They have to make things
It's
happen.
scripted reality.
They're very produced, the
They're
animals.
so produced. I mean, what it should
Reality.
do
Good phrase.
is just have penguins dossing.
Yeah, why not just have that? Penguins walking about. Me and David Baddiel used to watch a late night cable thing, which was just
here we go.
It was just penguins walking about, and we used to laugh and laugh and laugh at it. They're just, intrinsically ridiculous.
Exactly.
The Guardian.
We don't need the violent setups, Dave.
No, just have the penguins walking about. Atto.
So,
Yeah.
You said walking about like a cockney then. Walking about.
Yeah, that's all we need. Don't have to go all Tarantino about it. We're happy to just watch animals walking about. Relax. The blasé planet. And they just sit around.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
MJM, they did the Blasé Planet with humans. It was called Big Brother.
Oh, okay. It would be nice, though, just to see animals chilling out on the telly more.
Socialising.
I've been pretty happy this week, guys.
Go on.
I'll tell you, I mean, one reason why is that my car clock is now correct again.
Oh, that's good. That is a special moment.
6 months. So that's pretty good. But you may have noticed that I was in absentia last week. I wasn't.
I thought you were in Aberdeen.
I was in Aberdeen. You're right. I was.
Same
I was
thing.
Is that Latin for Aberdeen?
I was fulfilling a contractual obligation that stems back
Top man.
to pre-pandemic.
Wow.
I was supposed to do this corporate in Aberdeen in March 2020, and it has been reshuffled, I think, 4 times, maybe more. And then I went to it last week. It's a long way away, Aberdeen. I suppose if you live just outside Aberdeen,
Yeah, it's quite
not
close.
so
It's quite
applicable
close.
to any of the other
Can I say, by the way, there may be people listening who don't know what a corporate is. And
okay.
It's basically,
Explain.
you define it, Al.
It's when a comedian such as myself does entertainment for a particular group or business. So in my time, I've hosted the Kitchen, Bedroom and Bathroom Awards.
Yeah.
I've told jokes at the Mother and Baby Awards. But this was for some offshore drilling contractors.
Fantastic.
And their safety chapter. So it was quite a lot about safety.
I
but
did.
quite macho.
I did, and this sounds now like from a different age. I did double glazing salesperson of the year,
Lovely.
and on the bill was me and Red Rom. And they had Red Rom. They put carpet down and brought Red Rom
They did.
into the ballroom.
Did Lee Mack bring him in?
No, I don't think Lee Mack. Well, he might have done. I
We
wouldn't
should
have known.
say that Lee Mack, Frank, was worked. He was a stable
The
boy.
first horse Lee
Yeah.
Mack ever rode was Red Rom.
Yeah, he was a
That's
stable
amazing,
boy.
eh?
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted, but I
Sorry.
just a bit of context.
Well, my gig in Aberdeen was a significantly more macho demographic than the double glazing gig, is my bet, because these people work offshore for drilling contractors. They're quite macho.
Yeah.
So I was sort of dreading that macho element, because even though I'm macho by comedy circuit standards because I exercise and do martial arts, I'm not actually macho by
Come on,
offshore
Al.
drilling contractor
No, I suppose that
standards.
is a difference. It's all relative.
So I got there and I thought, God, this gig couldn't be any more macho. And the speaker before dinner was a bloke who used to be in the SAS.
Wow.
And is now on the telly on those SAS.
Oh, he's not. He's
programmes.
not still in the SAS. The trouble is with having SAS blokes on, it's hard to know how to introduce them.
Yes.
But if he's ex, that's not
He
so
wasn't
bad.
wearing a balaclava.
He wasn't wearing a balaclava. He was very good and he spoke well and he was fun.
He
I
sounds
liked
very
it.
up my straws.
Did he dare? Would you say,
Yeah,
generally
I think
speaking?
I think he's both dared and won in his life, yeah. And then I went on, and they were a tough crowd. Not in a sort of malicious way, just a bit like... Have you ever done those gigs where a crowd won't give you 3 laughs in a row? They go, ha 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 ha. No, not. Well, you're not getting a roll out of them. It's just
no. I tell you what, that is what I call the one joke at a time audience. There's no sense of you've just made us laugh 28 times. We trust you now. It's
very much.
You've just made us laugh 28 times. Let's see how number 29 goes.
Do you know what they are? They're a little bit... they're tapas, these people, aren't they?
Yes.
They'll just graze on the tapas. They'll have a bit here, a bit there. They won't go full in with a steak pie.
But back to 0 at the end of every joke. That's the thing.
Oh, come on.
So anyway, I did it, and then loads of them came up afterwards and said, "Oh, I thought that was great." Normally, they talk through the comedians. So just by being listened to, I'd been quite good, I think. And then I remembered that this gig has been so rescheduled that I was warned before doing it the first time. Oh, they sort of stare at you a bit, and then they'll tell you that you're really good, but they don't really laugh. But some of them they talk through, they're quite tough.
They must have been
rescheduled that many times that I had forgotten the initial warning because it was 2.5 years ago.
I'm presuming they were fairly well oiled.
Yeah.
Hey!
Very good.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Boys, we need to talk about the big news this week because I think you know what I'm talking about. Lovely Kenny Branagh won a Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars.
Did he?
For Belfast.
He did.
Yeah.
That was definitely the big story.
That was the one that we were talking about in North London.
What about you? It's a little extract from Belfast. It's interesting. It might be brilliant, Belfast, but I can't imagine going to see.
Well, it's black and white.
It looks like the news. They had a clip from it. It's like a clip from the news. I don't want to go and watch the news for 2 hours. Cinema.
Oh, God.
What is it, Pathé?
I was just, it was time. It was Kenny's time.
It won't be as good as Fantastic Beasts. The Secret of Dumbledore. No.
There was
some magic in that. I like a bit of magic in a film.
Yes.
Aliens or magic? Or no thanks?
I think aliens and magic are my two worst things.
Texting?
Really?
2 of my worst things in life. Aliens and
first,
magic.
Then magic.
Oh, aliens are infinitely worse than magic.
If you take a film and you take out aliens or magic, then you've got someone talking about a divorce and how they've gone to live on their own and
I love
how they remember the smell of begonias from their childhood. I can't be living with that.
All right, yeah.
You see, that's all.
I watch that one as well.
That's all I live for. I said to a friend of mine who was working on one of those. I don't want to say what it was, but it was those sort of franchises. Frank, what are they called? Like
McDonald's.
No, the sort of
Burger
Marvel.
King. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I said, I don't mind those films. I said, I just like it when the mutants have relationship problems and feelings they can talk about.
So there's a lot of that, though, in it. There is a lot of that, honestly.
Okay. We need to talk, obviously, about that incident. They called it the slap that was heard across the world, which isn't entirely true because the entire thing was muted and edited, I believe.
Yeah.
Although, having said that...
Unsuccessfully.
Yeah, unsuccessfully.
That was interesting because when Will Smith sat down and shouted, keep my wife's name off your lips.
Okay.
I think that's the clearest I've heard an actor speak for about 10 years. I thought I got every word of that. I didn't have to I didn't have to say, well, I'll accept it. There's a bit of more. If I can just do a sidebar on this.
Yeah.
I was watching a series which is readily available on TV if you want to check this out, called Lovecraft Country.
Okay.
Based on the stories of H.P. Lovecraft. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it started off with like there were spaceships and things, and I thought I'm going to love this. The second scene was a couple in bed talking, and I'd love you to try this. Episode 1 of Lovecraft Country. Try this as a national experiment. The second scene is a couple in bed. I could not tell one word that was being. I thought it's not good enough, is it?
See, I just expect that now because I'm so waxy, but.
Yeah, well, I thought I was going deaf, but I was. Did I tell you I was talking to someone who's directing, and an actor came on and said, and he said, "Sorry, I can't quite hear what you're saying." He said, "That's how I do it." And that was that. And he heard that bit. So he said, "That's how I do it," perfectly clearly, and then he went, So anyway, at least I heard what Will Smith, even if it was muted and beat.
Also, can I say in some of these shows,
beautifully enunciated.
Frank, in some of these shows, can I say, would it kill you to turn the lights on? They're sailing on the Lecky Bills.
Yeah, but
so dark.
I don't mind a bit of that.
Do you
I
not?
want to be able to hear it. I don't know what radio drama is like now. You got nothing to hold on to. Try, honestly, as an experiment, not while you're listening to the show, but if you get a chance, look up Lovecraft Country, try that second scene of the couple in bed. If anyone can send me a transcript, no subtitling now, we've all gone there cheating, but no.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Right,
Great.
Will Smith, in case you don't know, hit Chris Rock.
He did.
And it was a
He
slap.
broke a rule.
You managed to make it sound. You managed to make yourself sound like the headmaster of a school.
Okay. How are we going to deal with it?
Right. In case you don't know, Will Smith hit Chris Rock.
The slap, rather than a punch,
Yes.
I think is quite disrespectful.
Yeah.
There's something, I think a punch is sort of saying, I'm going to hit you with a punch. I'll value you enough to clench my fist when I hit you.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that I'll hurt you or even knock you out, which means you won't be able to come back at me. A slap is, I know you won't come back at me. I treat you with contempt.
I was once at a Huddersfield Town versus Millwall match, and Millwall had a
Of course you were,
reputation
Al.
Millwall have a reputation.
for aggression. And as we were leaving, some Millwall fans were trying to start a fight with some Huddersfield fans, but right in front of all the police horses. And one sage old Yorkshireman said, "Oh, safest fight you'll ever start," meaning you're surrounded by police. It's not going to continue. And I think there's a bit of this to that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think,
Yes.
It's like
Will
a fight
Smith
on a
knows
football
this is-
pitch.
This is the safest fight he'll ever start. It's against Chris Rock in front of all the cameras in the world. It's
Well, I was on the ramp going up to New Street Station in Birmingham many years ago, and there was two Millwall fans, and one of them said, "What you sport?" I said, "I haven't bought anything." He said, "What you sport?" I said, "I haven't bought anything. What you thought?" He said, "What's about it? What you sport?" I said, "Look, I don't have any bags or anything." He's going, "What?" Looking at his mate. What's it? Anyway, he went off, and my mate said, "No," he was saying, "Who do you support?"
You should have given him a part on that drama that friend of yours was working on.
Exactly, yeah. He must be an actor now.
He must
with that
be.
kind of diction.
Oh, yeah.
Only an actor.
Maybe the actors are brilliant and just sound departments have completely gone down the nick.
maybe.
Yeah,
I do think Will Smith broke a rule though by slapping Chris Rock in the face, because I thought the Oscars only permitted backslapping. See what I've done there? Because it's sort of a backslapping ceremony where they give.
What about this then? Would you have intervened if you'd been there?
Oh, absolutely not.
See, I was doing a gig once in Southend, and there was a guy on stage, a musical comedy act who was not going that well. And I saw someone step up. They'd given him a bit of abuse, like verbal. And I remember his comeback was "shut your gobs." And I saw this guy stand up, and I was the host, and I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to step in here. And I might get, knocked about. And the guy didn't go on stage. He walked up to the sound thing, and he just took out the 2 jack plugs, one for the microphone, one for the guitar. Then he went and sat down. It's beautifully done. I wouldn't have intervened because I wouldn't want to be caught between a rock and a hard case.
Lovely.
All right, it's over. It's over.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We're discussing the slap, or as I call it, and as Frank referred to it, the "Why, sir, you are no gentleman" moment. It was. People are calling it the most. The word "exciting" is being used. A bit inappropriate.
Yeah.
The most staggering.
Chris
moment.
Rock called it. Said that was the greatest night in the history of television.
Yeah.
First of all, it wasn't a night.
Biggest night.
Did he mean to say right?
Also, may I just point out that on that very stage, John Travolta once introduced Idina Menzel as the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem. Okay?
Yeah,
so
but
there's some competition there.
I've done that when you figure out a name, so you start saying things like wickedly talented to try and buy a bit of time. Inside, there's a little man running around your filing cabinets going, what is it? What is it? Yeah, it was, it's everyone saying that, violence is unjustifiable in all aspects. I don't think anyone thinks that, do they?
Yeah.
Sometimes it is justifiable.
Oh, my God.
Well, it is.
Well,
not on this occasion.
Can I just say the real winner
I don't
was
think it is on this
Denzel?
occasion.
Because it turns out Denzel Washington is some sort of Yoda figure.
Yeah.
What about what Denzel said?
What did he say? That when you're at the top, that's when they come
I'll
for
tell you exactly what he said.
The devil.
He said, at your highest moment, be careful, because that's when the devil comes for you. I think he's referring to that's when you have to fight your own worst instincts.
Right.
Is that something you found at your highest moment? That question to Frank Skinner.
I don't think the devil comes for Catholics, regardless of what floor they're on.
Right.
I think it's quite a good quote. But there's a slight sense that Will Smith quoted it, and that Denzel thought I said that in private. Actually,
Yeah.
I've actually nicked that.
Yeah.
From, probably got it from somewhere. Someone will say, Denzel, you're saying that as your own. No, he didn't credit me.
He probably got it from the
I got that
Matrix
as a
or
meme.
something.
I got it as a
Probably
meme off Instagram.
Yeah, he saw it on a meme, or he's seen it, the best movie quotes ever, he Googled quickly in the break.
I couldn't help thinking.
Oh, go on.
Jada Pinkett Smith, who I must say I love. Only because she was Fish Mooney in Gotham.
Right.
There's always some
She was
weird
brilliant.
superhero connection.
What if she'd gone up instead of Will? She'd gone up, and instead of doing any slapping, she'd pulled his lapel over so she could speak into his lapel mic, thus putting him in place and saying, you know what, Chris, I love you and I love your art and I respect you. I think on this occasion, so a lot of people have the condition I have, and it's tough and difficult. And I like to think that you and your colleagues in the comedy industry have moved away from a world where we make personal remarks about people's illnesses. But of course, sometimes they slip through the net, and then I think we have to speak. I love you, I think you're great, but on this occasion, that hurt me and I think it was wrong. Then she sat down. People would think she was amazing. Chris Rock wouldn't have come out of it too bad, and he'd have probably said, you know what, I hold my hand up. And Will would have thought, what a woman. That's fantastic. That woman I'm married to.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll stop the timeshare arrangement and just be like a normal couple. That's what should have happened. That would have been beautiful.
Yeah.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
What I found extraordinary...
Hold it. What about my housekeeping?
Do you housekeeping?
The producer then. She'd run over and tap the photocopy, but I have to read out, as if it was my fault.
It was my fault. Can I just say...
It's all right. It's enthusiasm. It's a good thing. We should encourage it.
Do your bit.
Not you, Will. So this is the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
I just attempted to start speaking before Frank had done what I call his business. And I would like to apologise to Frank. I'd like to apologise to Alan Cochrane. But most of all, I would like to apologise to the Academy.
Don't resign from the Oscars Academy.
Can we discuss the concept of the Academy?
I'm guessing the Oscars Academy is a bit like those elves toy-making factories where people sit around and make the Oscars. Is that how it is?
Because there was this news just in this morning. Will Smith
Don't call me Justin. I've told you that before.
resigns from the Academy.
What is it, though? Do you go and learn about the Oscars there?
Is it like Fight Club?
Yeah.
It is now.
Yeah, exactly.
But
He also said that his behaviour was shocking, painful and inexcusable, and I thought, no, you don't get to say it was painful. That's for Chris Rock to say.
Yeah, exactly. And
Like, he
also,
should say, actually, it wasn't that bad. It would have been worse if you'd punched me.
I'd say more sincerity and less Roger is what I would say to
What I found
WS.
interesting in WS's statement, resignation to the Academy, close quotes, he said that the list of people, as he said himself, the list of those I've hurt is long. It includes Chris, his family, many of my dear friends, not all of them I notice, and loved ones, all those in attendance, and global audiences.
Wow. Well, everybody there.
I mean, he has influenced everyone. I found myself shouting the other day, keep my wife's name out of your bleeping mouth. And it was an Amazon delivery driver that had asked for Mrs. Cochrane.
Yeah, there's no need for that. You went over the top, mate.
Frank says that
But
to
he's
me
an
every
influencer.
week when I mention Cath.
Wasn't it what I would call a union card apology? And that's when celebrities say, if I apologise, can I carry on doing this fabulous job?
Yeah.
It felt a bit like that. But, you know, I don't know how you... One thing he said was, in reference to Richard Williams, who he played in the film, the father of the Williams sisters,
Yeah.
he said, yeah, I really look like the crazy father there. And I thought, no, Richard Williams used to hold up handwritten, badly drawn felt pen signs, giving it... He didn't used to go and slap Justin Henan, did he? I thought Richard Williams had the... Oh, dear, don't bring me in on this, mate.
Do you know what I loved?
Oh, I love
Was-
saying Justin Henan.
Do you know
Of course
what?
you do.
I really enjoyed that moment, Frank.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
What I found extraordinary was the number of celebrities, when questioned about the incident on the red carpet afterwards, who it turned out were in the toilet or backstage, or they just kept saying, I didn't see it.
Was it the
I-"
Arsene Wenger? I didn't see the incident.
They kept saying, no, I can't comment. No, I didn't see it. No, I wasn't in the room at the time.
Really?
All of them. Well, I was watching the coverage on...
Because they didn't want to do a quote about it.
Oh, it's the Omerta, isn't it? And
It's the what?
Omerta.
What's that mean?
The mafia for keeping
Oh.
quiet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
no.
Jim Carrey condemned it, which I liked.
Yes.
And a few others. Not many condemnation people, but there should be more.
Well, I noticed, I watched the coverage on GMB, and Ross King is their correspondent.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember him?
Yes.
What I like about the Oscar correspondents on the red carpet is they have to sort of get dressed up for the occasion in
Yeah.
the black tie wear. But they're sort of standing behind the rope in the cold with the microphone. It's not...
It was like me at
As we
Fantastic
know,
Beasts.
those ropes don't keep people back.
He
Ross
used to be phenomenally orange, Ross King. And then I think he recognised that was going out of fashion, and he didn't go.
I think fashion's been a priority in his life.
He didn't grade downwards. He went orange to white, like a traffic light changing. Ping. Suddenly he was on telly. I thought, who is that? And he just one day it all went in the bathroom bin.
You know what he's gone now?
What is he now?
He's dug out the eyeliner.
Oh, he
Not a mark.
hasn't. No.
Ross King had eyeliner, Frank. King goes goth.
If I'm going to use eyeliner, no, I'm going to say I'm just rosking. Just rosking me eyes a bit. Do a bit of rosking. Has he, Yasin, has he? Ross, such a nice man.
He's a lovely man. And do you know what? I think he just got into the spirit of the occasion. It was the Oscars and he
Who did he hit?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
351. What's wrong with eyeliner, Frank? If Ross wants to look fabulous, all power to him.
No, look.
That's from Madeline. We agree.
Look, we're an Alice Cooper family.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got nothing to defend. I'm taking Buzz to see Alice Cooper in May
Are you?
at the O2.
Oh. Congratulations. There are a couple of people in the Will Chris moment. There's always that bloke, isn't there, who likes to wade in and be the peacemaker. And that during a fight, those blokes. So it's all right, calm down, mate. Come on. He's not worth it.
Yes.
And except in this instance, it was P. Diddy.
Oh, I didn't know he got involved.
Yes. He got very much. He chose to be that bloke.
Okay.
He said he came on stage immediately afterwards, I think, and he was doing a lot of hand gestures, sort of calm down hand gestures. And he said, Will, I love you. Chris, I love you. We're going to sort this out as a family afterwards. I don't know whether he did, but he kept giving statements and updates.
They're a family.
Yeah, on behalf of the family.
I must say, the most disappointing thing for me is that Chris Rock's next stand-up gig, he said, I'm not going to talk about it tonight because I'm still processing. I'm sorry, mate, that's not good enough. That is not good enough. If I got in an incident like that and I had a gig 2 days later, I would not sleep until I'd got material to start that show. And it would have been gold and the audience would have loved it. And when you come back on your next tour and do it, where you've sat with your team of writers, that's no good.
No.
Very let down. Very let down.
Very let down.
I've learned a lot about Will Smith and what's her name? Jada Pinkett
JPS.
Smith. I didn't realise that they were in an open relationship, but that she had a 4.5 year long affair, which I think is sort of a breaking of the rules of the open relationship. I think you're only meant to have little quick dalliances.
Is it official, the open relationship?
I think that's what they said. And then she's had this
If it
4.5
wasn't.
year. Yeah, and
If it wasn't,
You won't slap Al.
I'm surprised that they needed that, because you'd think that their relationship would always have the sort of excitement of having an affair, because whenever they check into a hotel, they do it under the name Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So you'd think that would be enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, the wickedly talented Alun Cockline.
I got to say one thing about Will Smith. I've never been a massive fan. I think the hip hop I thought was.
What do you mean?
You know, he used to do like hip hop songs. Which
Go and shake the room.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that. They were. I would call it Hamiltonian hip hop.
Oh,
Right.
But he changed my attitude to golf. He did a film called Bag of Ants, in which golf was portrayed as this mysterious world on this living creature of a course, and he made it all mystical and interesting. And I actually started having golf lessons after, on the strength of seeing Will Smith as Bag of Ants.
It's quite a
What about
weird
that?
entry point for Will Smith. I mean, most
Similar
people
thing
are
with
like
Happy Gilmore.
Men in Black.
No, for me.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Bag of Ants.
Bag of Ants for Frank.
Bag of Ants for Frank is what I ordered at the Live Insect restaurant.
That's what Ozzy Osbourne used to like.
I used to.
I'm afraid he did.
He did. I remember that.
Yeah.
That'd be tickly, wouldn't it? Imagine the sneezology of that. Anyway, I think we've yes.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, by the way, before we move on, I don't know if you remember this, but I was sent some soap a while back, probably a couple of months back. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Looking at the producer, always looks at me like she's never been here before.
Yeah, I do remember.
But anyway, so I just thought that's lovely, and I think I said a thank you, and it was from a thing called the Radish Soap Company, and it's all vegan and healthy and all that. Anyway, I actually got round to using a tablet yesterday. And because I had a store of other post-Christmas soap, but when I looked at the make, it said Beads Bath Bar, as in the Venerable Bede. I don't think there's a Venerable Bede range of cosmetics, and so I looked at the other soaps, and I'll give you a few par exemple. If I can find that baby. Oh, yes. So there's Beads Bath Bar, and there's the Ballet link, and it says soap to forget underneath. The Ballet link was a very boring, tedious link that we did on the show. And there's another one called I'm Tiltanding. With tea, mint and cocoa. So
bespoke soap.
So it's bespoke. Yeah, so thank you to the Radish Soap Company, and I must say it's nice soap.
That's
good
nice.
colours.
How lovely.
It looks edible. You know, some soap looks a bit like fudge. Okay.
Can we go back in time slightly?
Are you going to revive a 45?
No, I'd like to go to the section we call previously.
Oh, yes. ...
Oh, yeah.
Previously ellipses. Do we have a jingle? I don't think we do.
I don't think
we do. Why don't you improvise?
I'll this'll do.
Oh, I'm a gummy bear. Gummy, gummy bear. Oh, I'm a yummy, gummy, gummy, gummy bear.
But yes, but do you contain gum Arabic? I'm not prepared to answer that. Okay.
Yeah.
They're very touchy about the gum Arabic confession.
Oh yeah, gum Arabic. It's a bit of a that is verboten these days.
Is it?
Very much so.
Oh, I've got 3 jars in the cupboard. Anyway, GA, my GAs.
Why don't you set up a little stall at the next school fair?
Well,
all the parents saying, "I'll do the tombola, Frank Skinner. I could do some gum Arabic."
Yeah, I've got the gum Arabic auction.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Previously on the show, Al, we've had some good little entries, haven't we?
We've had various ones. One of the things that you were discussing on previous shows, Frank, was talking points in the home. And
conversation pieces and all that, yeah.
Yes, conversation starters, conversation pieces. Long-time listener, harking back to when you got the leather crown hat for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
First-time message. I was listening to your podcast last week and you mentioned talking points in our houses. We moved to this house September last year. It's a decent-sized 2 up, 2 down. We're in our 50s and love wildlife, especially lions and tigers. So most of the walls have that kind of artwork. A couple of months ago, we saw someone on Facebook advertising the artwork they do. Instead of putting it on canvas, they paint directly onto your walls. We now have a picture of a lion's head painted and spray painted, all different colours, a sort of graffiti 6 foot by 6 foot in the living room. Always starts a conversation off when people come in. I'll bet it does. Would love to send a pic. We'll carry on trying until I suss it out.
Yeah, send a pic.
I like the fact that they're
try a camera.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll read this out. I like this. There's a little bit of a civic duty to it. Hopefully you'll read this out, giving people ideas what to do with spare wall space. Yours sincerely, Dave Lyon.
Dave
Lyon?
Lyon?
Called Dave Lyon.
No.
Yeah, Dave Lyon, Lyon.
That's he doesn't mention that connection. What if it hasn't never occurred to him that he's called Lyon?
Unless it's a fib. But
Similarly,
I don't think so.
We shouldn't.
No, I know. We've got to. We'll be back.
I looked at a house in Little Venice, and they had an enormous mosaic of Mickey Mouse on the wall. I wonder if that's still there.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
We're discussing previously on the show. Al, you were just talking about conversation pieces, which I'm going to call peak Frank Skinner, that topic.
Okay.
There's something which I don't think... We've had Simon from York.
Right.
He sounds lovely and medieval. Anyone from York sounds quite medieval.
What about Terry from who did Terry's All Gold? They were from York. Do you remember Terry's All Gold?
Were they?
I remember.
Yeah, they were from. That was all based in York, I think. Terry's.
Well, the Cadbury's, I think they were made by Cadbury's. Because I think
Cadbury-
Cadbury's was based in York.
No, Cadbury's is
Oh,
Birmingham.
I'm so
surely.
sorry. I do
They're
apologise.
Quaker guys. I don't think it was Cadbury's, not Terry's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll get to the bottom of this. There'll be a chocolatier listening.
Can any chocolatiers get in touch? Anyway, because I heart chocolate.
You don't really, do you?
No, of course I don't.
No, I didn't think you did.
But you know, I was speaking as if I was an Oliver Bonus mug momentarily. Simon of York has got in touch. We have a stone resin floor that you would usually see on paths and driveways in the hallway and kitchen of a house. Whenever we answer the front door, the first thing people do is look down. Sorry, I apologise. I got the emphasis all wrong then.
Okay.
We have a stone resin floor that you would usually see on paths and driveways, comma, in the hallway and kitchen of our house.
I see.
We all clear? Whenever we
Yeah.
answer the front door, the first thing people do is look down and comment on the floor. We then have a very long conversation about the pros and cons of such a floor. I like to think it breaks up delivery drives a little. P.S. It was installed by the previous owners, but I would not recommend it.
Well, it's all
I don't
right.
want to get into a whole pros and cons discussion, though.
It's all very well for the drivers and stuff to have these conversations, but he's having this conversation how many times a week about his floor? You know, I left my West Bromwich Albion bathroom when I moved out from that house. I had one. I actually commissioned a West Bromwich Albion badge from the tiling company, which was about 3 feet by 3 feet.
Oh, that was
And
really
it-
too
and it-
much time in money years.
And someone told me that the man has, though he has no interest in football, he's retained it as a conversation piece.
The man!
That's nice.
You know the man?
The man! Is that the same man that David Beckham referred to on the plane when he said to... I believe when my friend was on the plane, I believe he was a young Brooklyn Beckham.
Okay.
And he said, you've got to be quiet or the man will come and chuck you off the plane.
What?
And I was very relieved that David Beckham still cites the man.
Yeah.
Or the
Or
man.
I say the lady.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone told me that this is an air steward, that he was on a flight that David and Victoria was on. And they asked me if he'd got any paper and pens. It was just the two of them, no kids.
Oh,
And he said when he went to collect the stuff after, there was page after page of noughts and crosses.
was it? That's brilliant.
Oh, and one page in which there was a couple of designs for a tattoo.
Really?
Oh, the way those are off-live. Yeah, but noughts and crosses, how long would that keep you going on a flight? I don't remember the last time I played noughts and crosses when someone won. They're all draws. It's got like, you know. Anyway, that's me on noughts and crosses.
You'll be getting a soap like that soon.
Yeah.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Hey Frank, we've had a text where you're being vindicated, and I know you like those.
I love being vindicated.
921 has said, "Yes, Frank!" Exclamation mark. Watched
read,
about
Al.
10 minutes. Watched about 10 minutes of Lovecraft Country and had to switch off during the bedroom scene as I couldn't hear it. What's going on?
I mean, I understand trying to get realism, but if that had been me and Cath in bed, it would have been a second before someone said, "What did you say?" You know, just because you're intimate, you don't. That's not enough.
You say that, but you haven't had a love affair with Elvis.
No, have you?
I choose not to comment at this time.
Elvis, you always know what's been said in Elvis films.
Do you know he was my first crush, Frank? So many others I reckon he was, but I cried because I'd never go out with
Do
him.
you still have a celebrity? I was thinking the other day, I haven't had a celebrity crush for years.
It was quite discouraged in our family.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
That's because you knew most of them. It could get awkward.
Yeah.
In our family, they were a long way off.
It was quite discouraged.
Who was your first?
I've got to... I can't say my first, I'm afraid.
You can't say your first celebrity crush.
No, for reasons that will become evident when I tell you both off air.
Okay.
However, I'm sure you can work out who he might have been. But, okay, Al, have you got there? Yes.
Was it me?
No.
Okay. Cath said, Cath, my
Al
partner, I remember saying to me that I asked her the same question, and she said she had two celebrity crushes when she was at school. Richard Bryars and Ruth Maddock from Heidi High.
They're good.
I mean, cover all the
Well, I had,
bases.
as you know, I had Derek Pringle as I got older.
Oh,
the
of
cricketer.
course, yeah.
When I was younger, Stefan Edberg, the tennis player,
Ah, obscure.
the one I can't name, who we'll discuss off air. Elvis was in my top three,
All right.
definitely. The Jailhouse Rock period, Not How Great Thou Art. And I would say various... Noel Edmonds.
Really?
Noel Edmonds.
That, yeah.
He was mine as well, so that's a surprise.
It's him bringing that inflatable doll as a chaperone that would put me off the dating. Check out the inflatable doll. That wasn't a derogatory remark. He keeps one because he drives a cab, a black cab, just like for fun. And he has her in the back so people don't stop him.
Frank, quickly, I know we've got to go, but who was your celebrity crush very quickly?
My first one was Honor Blackman.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Okay.
But I had like Julie Covington, I remember, from
Lovely.
Rock Follies.
Yeah, lovely.
Anyway, it's been a while. Dame Edith Evans, I think, was the...
And the woman on the Bayeux Tapestry, she was lovely.
Yes. So listen, all right. Honestly... sorry, but the producer was literally just holding the fez in my face. I could hardly breathe. Thank you for listening to us. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out!
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.